Hello everyone, welcome to the OpenLM webinar on the extensions of OpenLM. So today, I want to talk to you about the OpenLM extensions. Now, what are the OpenLM extensions? First of all, the OpenLM extensions are enhanced capabilities of the core system which can be implemented separately or used in combination. The OpenLM extensions help you better manage your licenses, automate administrative tasks, and enhance your data query capabilities. Now, I see that most of you are here. I hope that you can hear me well. We will now be taking a look at each extension of OpenLM. And after that, we'll be demonstrating on a live system those same extensions. So these are the extensions that we have. Let's go over them one by one. First of all, your organization might have several different organizational units that you'd like to build according to their license usage, or maybe you'd simply like to filter them in your reports. So the OpenLM group usage extension is able to group users and their usage by criteria that you define. So for example, you could group different users in groups representing their country, their company, their department, job title, or any attribute that you can think of. So here you can filter your desired groups and view their usage in your reports. In this slide, you can see the license usage for the selected groups only. So unfiltered on the left and fully filtered by group on the right. While in this slide, you can see the session duration summary for each group, which allows the organization to bill by department at the end of the year. For departments whose engineers work on multiple projects, OpenLM project usage allows you to manage project accounting and implement chargeback billing for finished or ongoing projects. It does this by getting your users to specify the project that they are going to work on every time that they pull a license. So you'll be able to budget your reports better and bill them differently by their actual usage. So in this slide, we can see the license usage specified to the selected project or unfiltered. Here we can see again the different session duration summary for each project, which is essential for chargeback billing during or when on completion of a project. So OpenLM is enterprise ready, and one of the main capabilities that make it so is the Active Directory synchronization. The extension allows the OpenLM system to synchronize with your Active Directory and integrate all users into different groups of OpenLM. So for example, you can automatically synchronize and integrate all your users and groups by their respective department, country, or organizational attribute, or even what your Active Directory actually holds. So as you can see here, the OpenLM directory synchronization allows you to group your users in many formats. You can group users as a flat group, or even compile the internal hierarchy of the users in your Active Directory. You can group users by any selected attribute in your Active Directory and even by custom attributes you've created yourself. So for example, here it's department, a custom attribute. So if anyone has a column of attributes for department, they will be able to group the users by that department. You may be familiar with the Flexlm options file, which enables you to group users, set feature conditions, reserve licenses, and restrict licenses according to criteria that you define. But it's difficult to configure. The Flexlm options file is very not friendly. It's a text-based and also very prone to human error. And as a result, it requires a lot of expertise to set up and maintain. The Openlm Allocation Manager allows you to easily set up and modify options file in a structured manner using a simple and intuitive user interface, which doesn't require any prior knowledge in options file coding. Note the resulting options file on the right, which was created from scratch using the Openlm License Allocation Manager. It's a fully functional options file. It's created simply by selecting and checking the desired criteria on the screen, as you see here. And when you're done, you can upload the changes to the license server using the same user interface. You just hit deploy. The Openlm Alerts extension helps you keep your administrators up to date, but by issuing notifications when certain conditions are met. So for example, you can get notified when a license is about to expire or a license is about to be maxed out. You can get notified on user events such as duplicate license usage, very long session duration, denials going over a certain threshold, and more. So here you can see the Openlm Alerts interface. Note that notification can be sent via email, SMS, and it can even just be displayed on screen, whatever they choose. So, as I said before, Openlm is enterprise ready, and another one, one of the extensions that makes it enterprise ready is the fact that Openlm can give different users different roles in the system. So you know that there can be many different stakeholders using Openlm in your organization. So for example, there are end users which use the engineering applications such as AutoCAD. You've got the system admin who wants to know operational data like usage and denials, and the manager who is more interested in trends and general utilization. The Openlm Roles and Permission extension allows you to assign different Openlm capability resources to different groups of users. So for example, you can set a group of for USA to allow it to see only the license server based in USA. In short, you can define who can see what in the Openlm system, both in the user interface and behind the scenes, meaning that you can hide different license servers from him or different features, or you can simply hide whole reports and whole sections of Openlm, or maybe some users will only will be able to open Openlm just to see one report. Maybe that's all they need. It's up to the admin to decide. So as you can see here, creating a new role and adding users to it is a very simple process and doesn't require a high level of expertise. But don't worry, we will be going over all the different extensions that you see here. We will be going over them in a live system, so you will be able to see them in action. So next, we got the Openlm Actual Usage extension. The Openlm Actual Usage extension allows you to gather information on how your licenses are actually being used while they're checked out. So in other words, you'll be able to see how much users are really using the application as opposed to just holding on to the licenses. For example, an engineer checks out a license in the morning, but decides to hold on to it just in case he needs it later. So in other words, he doesn't free up the license after finishing his work. The Openlm actual usage extension reports on all idle periods while a license is checked out. And this information can help you increase license availability for all your users and save you buying new licenses as a result. So as seen here, the Openlm reports on all idle and active periods as a chart or as a table, as you can see here. Next, we got the Openlm Active Agent, which allows you to close applications automatically or manually. For example, you may notice a user with session duration of 12 hours and decide to release his license and close his application. So the Openlm Active Agent extension enables you to terminate sessions in a number of different ways, including options for saving the user's work and releasing the license back to the license pool, or even simply suspending his process, suspending the application. So when used with the Openlm actual usage extension, you can set automatic idle time threshold for saving and closing application. So for example, you can set the Openlm system to automatically save and close any session which is idle for more than, let's say, 3 hours. This session is greatly increases, this extension greatly increases license utilization and license availability periods. And this does that for all your end users. So as you can see here, you'll be able to simply click Close App and have the application be saved and closed on the end user workstation. And as I said before, when used in conjunction with the Openlm actual usage extension, the Openlm system will automatically save and close applications that fail the idle time condition. So this is a representation of the Active Agent extension in action. So here you can see the application AutoCAD 2017. You see that it's open on the end user workstation. When the Active Agent close action is initiated, the application is closed and a message pops up on the end user workstation saying that the application was closed by the system admin or by the idle time trigger threshold. Now, the next level of the Openlm agent, as you've seen the active agent, the actual usage, and the next level is the app manager. So in the organization, there might be several types of licenses being used. May they be floating licenses, node-locked licenses, user-locked, or even single-use licenses. The Openlm App Manager allows you to monitor and control all those hybrid licenses in the same place under the same license manager or separately. The Openlm App Manager lets you specify conditions to restrict and allow license usage on the end user workstation. So for example, you can set a condition that excludes all USA members from using Autodesk 2017 after 10 a.m. as seen here on the bottom. Or maybe you just want to restrict a certain group from using a certain version of application So the Openlm App Manager will allow you to restrict license checkout by time of day, by application, by user, workstation, group, app version, app vendor, and more. So let's take a look at what happens when the user tries to open an application and a condition is triggered to prevent it. The application will not start, and the end user will get the appropriate message, as you see in here: access denied due to this rule. The Openlm App Manager also lets you set your own maximum license usage quantity for your engineering applications, and so restrict checkouts from any user trying to overuse the named license. Again, the end user receives a message, as you've seen, license limit reached. It specifies why he was denied. Now, Openlm supports SQL Server Mysql as the primary database, which replaces the Firebird embedded database for the evaluation periods of Openlm. External databases give you better performance, higher traffic loads, and higher data capacity. So as you see here, connecting Openlm to the new database simply requires updating the connection string, and that's it. Next is the Openlm Reporting Hub. So if you're an experienced user of Openlm, you may have found that sometimes you need custom reports in addition to the standard built-in reports. This is an issue we have been dealing with for a long time, as many admins need to consume custom reports for their organization, for things like compliance agreements, managerial decisions, and other business needs. So in the past, they tried to query the Openlm database directly to extract and calculate the information that they needed. But this was very problematic, as the Openlm database doesn't hold many of the fields that they were looking for. And the database itself is structured to serve the Openlm user interface and not designed as a query tool. Furthermore, when changing versions of Openlm, they needed to rewrite all queries scripts, as Openlm makes changes to the databases with every release. So we developed the Openlm Reporting Hub extension, which allows you to fully customize your reporting data and create tailored reports. The Openlm Reporting Hub produces a dedicated report database, which you can query with any business intelligence tool and extract the information that you need. The reporting database contains all the data fields that you need, including concurrent usage, usage duration, denials, and other processed fields. The reporting database is structured in a very user-friendly manner, which is a simple measure and dimension table structure that does not change when upgrading Openlm. For example, here you can see a dashboard that was created over the Reporting Hub database using Microsoft's Power BI in about 10 minutes, mainly by dragging and dropping columns and fields into place. So you don't need to be a developer to build these reports, as it can be done by just about anyone. And that's it. You can also see a heat map of monthly and year utilization percentage, which requires a new calculated measures to be created. So it enhances your querying and data analysis capabilities by letting you pretty much play with your data and get whichever aggregation that you want, whichever field that you require. You can always do more using this extension. Now, I quickly want to show you a live system, and I want to go over the extensions that you just saw. So first of all, I want to show you the alerts extension. The alerts extension, just to remind you, it creates a notification conditions which notify you via email, via SMS, when something happens in your system. So let's take a look at what can happen and how can you get notified. So when a license server is not responding, you can get notified. You want to know about that. If it's not responding, you want to kick it up again. You want to start it up again. So you want to get notified. A usage percentage goes over a certain amount. Here it's 90, but you can pretty much put whatever you choose. That means that something is going to be maxed out with the license. For example, usage percentage over 90% for Autodesk means that, let's say that you have 100 licenses, meaning that over 90% are currently using Autodesk, meaning that the license is about to be maxed out. So you got to do something about it. You'd want to get notified, okay, it's about to be maxed out, so I'll call some people up to close their workstation, or maybe to release their license, or maybe I just go over them and close their workstation manually. But this tells you that something needs to be done. Everybody does it differently. It's according to the organization itself. But this can tell you what's going on with your system. You don't have to keep guessing. A duplicate license is being used, meaning that one user is using a duplicate license, meaning two license types or more. When an expiration gets to a certain amount, meaning that, let's say, a license is about to expire in 2 weeks, then I want to get notified. I want to know about it. Users with no default group or project, meaning that they're not a part of any group, there are pretty much unauthorized usage. You can see also get notified on unauthorized usage. If a usage period goes over a certain amount, here it's 600, but you can set it to whatever you choose. Meaning that, let's say someone used for, I don't know, 48 hours. Well, 48 hours, pull the license, is probably not using it anymore. So you want to get notified about this. Probably it's someone that went on vacation and left it on. Many different things can happen with this. Or maybe they just pull the license and that's it. They come to work every day, but they never put the license back. Can be as well. So you can get notified about this and know the behavior of your users. You can get notified when a maximum number of denials goes over a certain threshold for a certain time. Now, why is that good? Let's say that you have 1,000 denials in a period of 10 minutes. Now, 1,000 denials in a period of 10 minutes for a certain feature means that something is wrong. Something is very wrong. People are not getting licenses. The license server may be responding, but they're not getting licenses. So this means, okay, something's wrong, check the system. So this is the alerts extension. As I said, it can notify you on different criteria and pretty much tell you what's going on in your system without you having to constantly check it. Next is the options file management extension. This allows you to modify and edit different options files on all your servers and deploy them from this interface. You won't have to create the text. You won't have to write down the text. You don't have to edit it. You can simply use this interface, this simple interface, and deploy the options file to the server. Now, options files usually are pretty hard to read, are very error prone, and if you do one mistake, the whole thing does not compile. So OpenLM gives you this interface that here you can choose, for example, the server. I'll choose here the feature that I want. I can also choose all features, but let's say the feature. And I want to add a certain group. So I'll take a UK group, and I'll say that I want to add UK development. So I have UK development. I can reserve licenses for them, include them, exclude them, borrow, include, exclude. So I'm including them for now. Let's just save it and see it in the preview that we have now include to this feature group, this group, the development, UK development that we added. So you see how easy it is to create a very complicated options file. As you see, it's not very friendly, it's not very self-explanatory. So OpenLM allows you to do that really quickly. You saw, I just click, select, add, save, that's it. Just a few clicks away. Next thing that I want to show you is the actual usage extension. So right here, you can see a session. This is my session, Reuven, this is me. You can see it also right here, it's open. I have AutoCAD open right here. And I see right here the duration, the 8-minute duration. But I also see that it's about 6 minutes out of those 8 minutes that I have the license, the application has been idle, meaning that it has not been using any CPU, any memory. It might have been minimized. So it's not working, it's not doing anything. If we look here, we see that from this time to this time it was idle. You can check the idle period as well. And you can know the behavior of your users. So as we said, using this in conjunction with the OpenLM active agent, which closes the application, saves the data, saves the works, and closes the application, you can manage to release licenses that are idle for a long time. So here it's 7 minutes, but what if it's idle for 10 hours? If it's idle for 10 hours, come on, he's not working, he's not there. You should release the license so it can be automatically released. You can also, oh, one moment, please give me 1 moment. Sorry about that. Yes, truly sorry about that. So we're back. Now, as I said, you can manually close the application as well. So if I click here, close application, now this can be done either by the idle time threshold or it can be done manually, as you're about to see here. It takes about a minute for it to close the application. So meanwhile, I will take you to see the App Manager. So here, you see that it closed my application. My AutoCAD, I had an AutoCAD application open right here. And the OpenLM agent has recently closed AutoCAD at System Administrator's request. So I can click here, Open, and it will reopen AutoCAD. But now I want to show you the App Manager. So this is the App Manager window, and you see I have a few applications right here. I have Power BI, which is licenseless. You have Visual Studio, which is a named license. I've got Autodesk, which is both floating licenses and named licenses. We've got Photoshop, which is just you just buy the software itself. And you see here that you can set the limit of it and the different return and consumption policies. So for example, you can return the license when the workstation is hibernating. If the workstation is asleep, you probably need the license back. Probably no one is using it. Now, why is that good? First of all, you can see that we can track, we can monitor different applications. Doesn't matter their licensing, meaning that they can be floating, they can be named. It will all can be on this in the same place. So what else can you do with it? Well, you can set different consumption rules and allow or deny usage by different criteria. So for example, I have here a rule that says if the time is after 8 and before 4 o'clock, I'm just going to save that and change that because now it's after 10 o'clock. So let's say 9. So if it's after 8 and before 7 o'clock, then deny the application from being opened. Now let's see what happens when I try to open the application. I get a notification saying that access denied due to normal USA working hours rule. This is this rule right here, normal USA working hours. So there are many different conditions that you can set. For example, you can set it by time. You can set a certain application. Which application are you referring to? Which version of the application? Which groups do you want to include in this condition? The username of it, the vendor of it. You have a lot of options. So for example, you can see that you can say that we have bought Autodesk 2019, then you can only use Autodesk 2019. You can deny everybody from using any other version of Autodesk, or you can deny different groups, or you can set different groups to use the same licenses but in different times. So for example, USA will have that 8 to 4 and China will have that 5 to 7. I don't know, you can put it however you'd like, but you can set different licenses, set the same license to be used by different places. Now, why is that good? What does that tell you? Why do you want to track named licenses? Because they're named. One license for one user. That's it, right? Well, is that user using? You don't know. You don't know if he's using it actually. You know that he has a license, but maybe he uses just 1 hour a week. And if he uses 1 hour a week, why can't he be just in the floating license pool? And then he will cost you less money. And you can give his license, which is a named license, you can just give it to someone from the floating license pool, which uses 8 hours, 9 hours a day, every day. So you can just give him a named license. It will be cheaper for you. So this gives you a lot of monitoring options to be able to know what's going on with all your license types, not only floating licenses, just about everything. And lastly, I want to show you the Reporting Hub, as you see here. Now, the Reporting Hub is an extension that allows you to custom query your database. You pretty much can do whatever you want with your OpenLM database. So right here, you can see a dashboard that I created. Now this dashboard is a very simple. It was very simple to create. It was just drag and drop of different columns. It's pretty much about 10 minutes to create such report. Now I'm not gonna delve deeper into it because we saw this in the presentation, and this is pretty much a whole webinar for its own. But you can pretty much custom query your data. You can do whatever you want with it using a simple drag and drop mechanism. Now I'm having a bit of difficulty, technical difficulties with it, so I won't demonstrate it right now. You see the screen has some issues with it. Anyway, this is it for the Openlm extensions. We saw that we are able to have alerts, to get alerted on certain criteria. We saw that we can restrict users when certain criteria are met. We can pull people's licenses. We can, retract people's licenses, engineers' licenses, if we suspect that they are not using it. We can do it remotely. We can do it automatically. We can incorporate with your Active Directory and incorporate the groups and users from inside. We've seen that we're able to group also the usage by projects. We saw that we're able to custom query our database and pretty much do whatever we want with the data itself. So now I just want you to ask whatever you have. If you have any questions, you want to know anything about the webinar, the presentation, or the demonstration that you just saw. So please ask, go ahead. This is your time. I'm going to be here for the next 10 minutes to answer questions. And that's it. Go ahead. If you want to ask, just remove your mute and you'll be able to ask either by chat or you can also just simply ask using your microphone. I have a question here. Is Active Agent working for every app or only Autodesk? Now there are a few levels. If you want to use the save and close option, then it's Autodesk, SolidWorks, MATLAB, and ArcGIS. If you want to do it for any application that's managed under Flexlm, then you got the suspend release, which suspends the application and releases the license, and it does not thaw off the application until it gets the license back, so it remains frozen. The next level, let's say that it's not Flexlm, and it's not Flexlm, and it's not the 4 applications that we said, then the Active Agent can also simply kill the process itself. Now this is any process. It can be any application, anything with a process. Can idle times also be tracked on named licenses? Yes. Idle time can also be tracked on named licenses using the App Manager. This is a new feature that we've added to the App Manager. Just I think the latest version has it. And it enables you to track the idle time as well as the usage time. Can we follow Bentley select server licenses using the App Manager? Now the App Manager is able to monitor Bentley and set the different criteria to Bentley licenses, but only the top level. Bentley has a top level and inside it a lot of subsidiary licenses, so only the top level for now. Some users are opening the application in the morning and close it in the evening. Okay. Some users do it, but some don't. Personally, when I used to work in a lab and we had licenses for the applications that we were using. Personally, I pulled the license and never ever put it back because I didn't want to get denied. Next question, I have users in and out of my office. I'd like to go back and watch this again. Will this be recorded? Yes, this posting will be recorded. It will be sent to you by, I think, automatically by the GoToWebinar system. It has your email. It just sends out the recording once it's done compiling it. So any app using Flexlm can be suspended. This work, the work won't be lost. The app will just be not usable until you get the license back. This is what Michael is asking. So indeed, any app under Flexlm can be suspended, and it will not be usable until it gets the license back, because we suspend the process. You can't unfreeze the process. In which state is the reporting hub? Can I download the installation files? Now, in order to install the reporting hub, you should contact support at support@openlm.com. We will be happy to help. We'll install an evaluation version of the reporting hub. Currently, the reporting hub, you're asking which state. I'm not sure what you mean by which state. It's in full production. We have about 30 users with it right now. Everybody's happy with it. I'm not really sure I understood your question. I have a question from Torsten. Torsten, hey. Can you monitor ePlan? And is there some prerequisites needed? So yes, ePlan can be monitored. It's a new extension that we've added not long ago. Yes, there are some prerequisites, but we send you pretty much everything that you need to get started. So Torsten, if you want to install also the ePlan solution, then let us know. Support will be happy to help. You're most welcome, Torsten. Okay, anyone else has a question for me? I'll be happy to help. I'm not sure what you're asking, Gunther. Can an extension developed by yourself, like for MATLAB or AutoCAD, is it possible? Is there documentation on it? Now, if you mean, is there a way to create an extension and develop it by yourself? Yes, there's also a way to develop a generic extension of your own and have it work with the Openlm agent. For example, I'm going to give you an example here. You can run on the workstation itself, you can run a command, just any command. So it can range anything from starting up the notepad and saying something like, hey, you've been using for too long, up to, you know, just closing his machine or locking his user, whatever you want to choose, you can do it, no problem. It's possible. We have it's called the custom commands extension. I didn't go over it because it's a part of the active agent itself. If you would like to know more about the custom commands, meaning that you can interact with the workstation remotely using a command, a CMD command, then talk to support, and we will be happy to give you the documentations on it and get you a trial period. Oh, you mean if you can develop your own save and close like is for the extension of AutoCAD and SolidWorks. So yes, this is exactly what I was saying. Instead of saving and closing the application, you can decide yourself what to do. You can just run a command line, a command on the end user workstation, and instead of saving and closing it, you can do your own script, your own custom script that will run on the workstation. So if you create a script for save and close for other applications, then you can use it, no problem. This is with the custom commands. Okay, so I thank you very much, everybody, for your time. If you have another question or something that you want to know, please contact the OpenLM support team at support@openlm.com, or you can contact us in the OpenLM chat, which is on the OpenLM website, and ask whatever you'd like. We'll be happy to help. So thank you very much, everybody.
Joe-sanにフィニッシュ。